promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the Lautimes podcast.
And we are back. We are back, maybe not in the best of moods after what happened last week, but time to look forward to Liguilla, because it's Liguilla time, friends. Welcome back to Low Times, where we talk about Tigres in English. I'm Dennis, the producer, and once again, apparently the host tonight. Hoping to be joined by much more of our crew later on tonight, but for the time being, I am joined by the legendary man himself at Tigres_English, Lou Pop himself, wearing a Dodgers hat.
What's up, Dennis? Yeah, we're here, man. We're a little salty, but we're here, and we're gonna turn the page and look forward to Liguilla. I think we're gonna do all right.
I sure hope so. The boys got some making up to do for what happened last week in Mexico City, but we'll get to that here in a second. If you're watching live with us right now on Twitter and YouTube, thanks for being here. If you're listening on podcasts later on, also thanks for being here. For all you people that are watching live right now, please come join us in the chat, especially since, it's just us two right now. We could use a little bit of company, and we could use a lot of engagement. So come hang out with us. Come drop your comments in the chat. Let us know where you're from, because we want to know that always. And let us know your takes. Again, hopefully we'll have more of the crew join us as the night goes on. But for now, little pick and roll game between Lou and me. So real briefly, man, let's not start with the men. I just want to start with Femenil really quick, in the sense of, like, now that they're officially not qualified for next year's Champions Cup, I think it's, obviously it's a bummer. It's important to, like, have some awareness about that. But it's a huge blow for the team as far as, like, trying to make its name for itself, like, outside of the country, outside of Mexico, and to challenge themselves on an international stage, specifically against those really good NWSL teams. So I don't know what other thoughts you have towards that. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a surprise considering our early elimination and just kind of how crappy the last 2 years have been, or the last 2 seasons have been this past year. So pretty disappointing that we're not going to be in that next year.
Disappointing, and also goes to show the importance of taking the regular season into account and taking it seriously. We dropped way too many points against inferior teams throughout the season, and that's also led to us not being able to make it to CONCACAF Women's Championship. So disappointing for sure. Especially, it's gonna make for a really long next year, because if we have an early bounce from this Conca coming up in May, or coming up soon, it's going to leave a really bad taste in our mouth, and then we're going to have to sit around forever to be able to have another shot at it. So I think it's just bad news getting piled on top of bad news. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what direction the squad takes. There's a lot of stuff up in the air. I'm not sure Pedro Losa is the guy to move forward. I know he didn't have an off season, and there was a few bright moments during the season, but the way we ended, the way we closed, is just unacceptable. So we'll see what the front office decides to do. There's going to be a lot of tough choices, player personnel decisions that need to be made as well. There's several players no longer at the level that they need to be part of our squad, and there's certain areas where we definitely need to reinforce. So there's a lot there to think about and ponder, and we'll see what happens this offseason.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you think Uayala is going to keep his job with Femenil, or do you think he's on the outs too?
Given what's transpired these last 2 seasons, it's hard to say that he'll keep his job as much as it hurts. It's a guy that I like a lot. He's a great person, solid person, but what's happened is just completely unacceptable. You can't lose a final the way we lost the final last season against our inner city rivals, and then you can't get bounced again in quarters your same to the same team. So it just can't happen, and the team's been trending down. We're not as dominant as we used to be. There's just a lot of holes, a lot of bad decisions that have been made, perhaps not very well thought out, and decisions were slow to be made. I think Mila, for example, after she lost the final last season, should have been let go pretty much immediately, right? The next day, make the announcement and then start looking for a new coach to have at least a short preseason to work with. And instead, they waited forever, and we didn't get a new coach like until what 4 games into the season, which hurt our chances. We had a terrible start. The ship kind of righted itself for a minute there during the middle of the season, but then we collapsed again. So it's hard to say what will happen to Hugo, but I don't see him keeping his job.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all that. We'll see what happens here in a few weeks with the semifinals of the Champions Cup in Monterrey. Obviously, we will preview that as we get closer to that here in a few weeks. So stay tuned for that. But at this point, there's not much else feminine stuff to talk about. However, Greta Espinosa is back training. So that's a good thing ahead of those games here in a couple weeks. So um, the all the good news we can get right now, the better. All right, man, let's get this out of the way. Last Thursday, Tigres nil, Cruz Azul 1. Cruz Azul 2, Tigres 1 on aggregate, meaning that the boys are eliminated from this year's edition of Champions Cup. A game that started well. I'd say the first 15 to 20 minutes were good. There was purpose, there was, you know, energy. We had a goal that was called back for offside, but it was off a great set piece play. Lots of good things happened in those first 15, 20 minutes, and then nothing good happened after that. And progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse. And it all led to, of course, late second half, taking Cordova off. Poor Marcelo Flores coming on and immediately getting a handball in the box and conceding a penalty, and then the team just like sucking after that, genuinely. And then a lot of frustration after what honestly should have been a game where they scored, but once again, we're just allergic to scoring on the road. So um, we'll get to the specifics here in a second, but what was just kind of your general vibe um, 5 days after last week's elimination?
Honestly, the more I think about it, I like the game plan from Guido going into this game. I thought we had a shot to, you know, at least have a shot at beating them. Um, I'm still going back to that first game though. I think we shot ourselves in the foot because we had such a bad 75 minutes of that first leg, and when I mean bad, I mean just lazy, indifferent, apathetic performance. You can't treat an elimination type of series the way you treat a week 2 game. And so to me, that's where we really hurt ourselves. Because if you think about it, Cruz Azul only had in both games only had 8 shots on goal. And in that first game, you could argue that they played just as bad as we did. The only difference is defensively, we gifted them that first goal um, with lazy marking. And so go into game 2 now, and you gifted them another goal um, with Marcelo Flores coming in 25 seconds later, handball, and then PK. They scored to go up. And after that, I just feel like we weren't going to have any chance of winning. You go down 1-0. I just didn't feel like we had a spark. I think our best shot to win that game was keep it 0-0 for most of the match, and then maybe those last 15 minutes find a spark, score, and then squeak out a win. I think that was Pizarro's game plan going into it. Maybe win 1-0 and advance that way, and it just failed because Flores happened. And you got to blame Pizarro for that. The subs weren't great. I think what we had, the starting 11 that we had, I think had the game relatively in control, and then the subs you brought in sort of made the team collapse. And that's why you mentioned, yeah, we got progressively worse. Yeah, because our subs made the game progressively worse. They didn't come in to offer much of anything. Cordova, even though he wasn't spectacular, was having a decent night. He was at least threatening, and once you pulled him out, then you lost that opportunity. So you got nothing from Flores, you got nothing from Antuna, and then Ozzy also didn't give us a spark. So Pizarro in that sense failed. Ultimately, I think what happened is, and I think was the difference in this series was Carioca not being available. I think that was huge. I think Pizarro was relying on him being there, and I think had he been there, it might have been a different story.
Dude, 2 years in a row. We said this last year after the Columbus series because he got the red card in the second Orlando game, and then we didn't even know that he was going to miss both legs. And oh my gosh, what difference he would have made in that series, right? Like, I can't believe that it happened again, that he just has to miss out. And
And I want to say, Dennis, he might have been out for the Vancouver game in Leagues Cup also. I recall Vigon playing that game, and I do not remember Carioca playing in that one.
Vancouver game or the New York game?
I mean, I'm sorry, the New York City FC game.
You might be right. I'm going to look back at that. I think you might be right, though.
And I think, dude, and that's been the common denominator. We haven't had Carioca to kind of control things. We got picked apart against New York City, and then it happened. Same thing happened in that second leg. We had no control of that midfield without Carioca, which is crazy. One of our older players, and he's still the one that kind of makes everything go.
And a guy whose contract is about to expire in like a few weeks, right? Like that's just absolutely crazy. We have our first comment of the night. I want to preface this comment by saying, why are you not just in this recording right now, Alfred? But Alfred is in the chat at least, saying it wasn't a bad game. Unfortunately, we need a lot more offensive power if we want to win anything. So I agree with that. And now I want to hear a certain man's takes, a certain DFW man like me. Edgar, Mr. at Devil Nation has arrived. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, doing good. A little late to the party, but we're here to talk about Theotis. Unfortunately, not on the best terms, and unfortunately, as you guys were mentioning, another rough exit with the lack of Carioca.
Yeah, what else do you have to add as far as like the conversation about last Thursday goes?
So I think we didn't give our best game, without a doubt. There's a lot of lack of intensity and a lot of lack of commitment from a handful of the players that were in that starting 11. I don't attribute the failure to just one player. I know a lot of people were mad on social media with Marcelo Flores. Don't get me wrong, he played horrendously, and his continuation at Tigres for me right now is questionable, but we had 90 minutes to do something, and we just didn't get anything done. Nahuel Guzman was our best player that game, and really, truly, and honestly, for me, he was the only one who seemed committed to the objective.
Yeah, that's my biggest gripe more than anything, like tactically. Like I have a lot of issues with what happened tactically, with just like our spacing and our build-up, especially in the second half. That was just god awful. But more than anything, I felt like there wasn't a sense of urgency and a sense of like, pride, especially in the second half of the game. Like it just kind of like waned away. And that's just not what Tigres is all about, right? Like you play the whole 90 minutes, you give it your best effort, you play for the shirt, you play for the club. And in any circumstance you do that. And I felt like that wasn't prevalent in that game much at all. Again, outside of the first 15, 20 minutes where there was like some sense of urgency. And that's been a problem over the last year and a half. I mean, it happened under Siboldi, where that sort of stuff kind of happened. The Clásico and the Liguilla last year, like the second leg, like just really weird attitudes from the players outside of Gignac. It happened in last season with Paunovic, and now it's happening even still somewhat with Carioca. So, or not with Carioca, with Pizarro. So, just that needs to get fixed right now. Otherwise, like we're not going to get anywhere far in the year at all. Alfred coming in through with the fact check. Carioca did play against New York. Who we going to replace was Bruneta.
Yeah, and well, it makes sense. I feel like those are the key pieces in the midfield, right? Carioca, Bruneta, Gorriarán. I think without those three in the middle, you tend to lose a lot of your attack, at least the base of your attack. And so I'm with you, Dennis. The intensity just wasn't there, especially that first game. And I was so upset with the way we managed and played that game. The the laziness in which we played it. Honestly, Carioca came in as a sub, didn't he? Like in the 70th minute, and that's when the game changed. Like we got a spark, and we looked great to close out that game. We ended up tying it, but if had we just played with a little more urgency in game one, there's no reason why we can't leave with a 1-0 win. They had 2 shots on goal in game one and leg one. So to me, we had said it pregame. You got to go into Mexico City with a slight edge, be it 1-0 or 2-1 or 2-0, but you have to have some kind of edge because we're a terrible road team, and it showed. Right, we went into Mexico City and we showed that we are a terrible team on the road, and that we can't find any goals.
Comment from our friend Frank in the H. Shout out to you, my friend. Looking ahead to next week, we better come out looking to score on Thursday and take the advantage back to the Uni. Yes, and that kind of feeds into what Lou was just talking about with just us being a bad road team. Like, I mean, the emphasis to at least get a goal on Thursday is going to be absolutely insane. But we'll get more on that game here in a second. I want to talk lineup really quick from last week. Obviously, the big change was Vigon came in the midfield. Cordova came in next to Ibanez on the forward line. Everything else relatively stayed the same. No Romulo until later. Or he didn't come in at all. I'm sorry. I was really stunned about Vigon's inclusion. And he did not really do anything to justify his starting place. The substitutions were really whack. Obviously, Antuna didn't do much. We talked about Flores already. Ociel didn't provide us anything. It's time for my rant. I genuinely do not understand Diego Lainez's place in the team right now. He has offered nothing for about a month. Like ever since the Clásico where he had that crapshoot of a game, he has offered literally nothing. Literally nothing. And yet he's still starting and playing 90 minutes. What is the reasoning behind him starting and just the lack of minutes or no minutes at all for Jesus Garza? I don't understand that because Garza all season has proved that he's probably our best crosser on the ball or our most consistent one. He generates chances more than Lainez does. That has been proven. And I know that he's been dealing with some personal stuff, but what is he doing in training that's not letting him start? I don't understand that because Lainez in that game on Thursday really pissed me off because he didn't seem to care. His head was in the clouds, bro. Super slow on the ball, really bad passing. I don't know. I'm really tired of that bit, and I know that he's probably going to start on Thursday, but I'm over it, man. You have to switch that up. Garza and Aquino was working really well at the start of the season. Yes, it was with Paunovic, but still, the idea is still the same. I think you have to try it. I think you have to make that work because, again, you need to generate offense somehow. You need to generate chances. And with Bruneta playing so deep right now, it's kind of a give or take, right? Where you're sacrificing some of those chances that are created by him because he's playing so deep. You need to have that come from somewhere else. And Garza this season has proven much more than Linus that he can do that on a more consistent basis. So it's annoying that he didn't play at all, because I really felt like, especially on the set pieces, because we had set piece advantage on Thursday. I mean, Cruz Azul was not handling us well. They got lucky that, offside saved the day on them a few times. But if you have him in for those crosses, if you have him in for those set pieces, who knows, man? Maybe you have something that could have happened. But sorry, I know I went super long there, but I'm just tired of that bit. Like, where's Chewy, man? Like, we need more Chewy.
That's been a trend with Linus is this, he does really well against middle of the table teams and bottom of the table teams, but in big games, I've never seen him show up. I mean, you're welcome to challenge me on that, like maybe a game here and there, but I just can't, like off the top of my head, I can't remember a game against a big opponent, him having a big night.
The
I
last
just don't.
three, stinker against Cruz Azul, both legs, and then
Both times.
getting sent off in the Clásico, and
Yeah.
absolutely playing awful in the first half. Shouldn't even play the second half, and then gives
And
up.
you can take that back to like previous seasons too. We've never had a big time game from him in a big time moment. Like
maybe that Clásico, that first Clásico in or the
2023.
when Ciboli was still around, the
Yeah,
year that we made the final.
that's the only one that comes to mind.
Yep.
And the only reason it comes to mind, I was there. So
Well, maybe you're his specific good luck charm. We need to start
yeah.
a GoFundMe for you.
And to me, that was one of the key points for the series was how are we going to match up our wingbacks against their wingbacks, and their wingbacks outplayed us. Like they completely outplayed us. Aquino unfortunately didn't have a great series either. Linus was completely lost. So to me, in the offseason, I think that left wingback spot has to be one of the positions we reinforce. Like we need to go out and get like a top level wingback because Linus is not it. And honestly, Garza you could use along with Aquino. If you don't want to start him, he's a great sub or a great guy that you can put in Aquino's spot. And then if Aquino down the road decides to retire, then you can continue using Garza on the right side. We'll see, but to me, that position needs to. It's an urgent matter, and if anything, if you want to keep Linus, you could always move him further up the pitch. Perhaps he'd be more effective.
I mean, maybe. I mean, Alfred actually makes that point right here, saying Linus works better up top with Garza playing behind him. Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, but
again, I think he just doesn't have enough of I don't know what it is, to be able to get up and down. I just don't see it. Like he either plays decent defensively and he does his job adequately, but he provides nothing up top, or he's up top and he doesn't give you much defensively. He's just sort of. He's not one of those dudes that can go, end line to end line.
Right. Another comment from Alfred saying, we're seeing time and time again that our depth chart is extremely thin. Yes. I think we've known that all season. But that was really evident on Thursday. And you're right about getting schooled by their fullbacks. I mean, Rotondi, both legs. Like that's what a fullback in this league is. That's the example. Right? He is the prime example. And he's so good, man. Like I just gotta say, he's really freaking good. I'd kill to have him on this team, but it is what it is. Kudos to them. I mean, their game plan worked, right? Like both teams with like new coaches, crazy situations that have led to them like getting to where they're at now. And Cruz Azul, their coaching staff did a much better job than we did. They neutralized us in the middle. They made it difficult for us to find our spaces and to be able to have our link up and all that, even though we easily could have done a better job. And they pressed well in certain moments that frustrated us. And they forced a lot of errors out of our back line. Again, passing out of the back continues to be an issue. I mean, and Purata, that one moment in I think the first half where he completely just missed the ball, and Sepulveda easily should have scored, but I think Nahuel saved it if I remember correctly. Like they took advantage of the mistakes that we made, and they forced us into a lot of mistakes. So again, kudos to them.
And that's one reason why I wasn't too hard on the squad after the game, after the series ended, because I feel like Cruz Azul is such a good team. Like we lost to a very good team, possibly, arguably, the best team in the league right now. I mean, look what they did against America over a 3-game span. They only allowed 1 goal from America. So it's a team that defends really well. Their stoppers are great. They got a good sweeper, good wing backs. So that back line is solid, man. And good luck trying to score on them. And that's why I don't beat myself up too much. I mean, I don't beat up Tigres up too much or Pizarro, because I think Pizarro did what needed to be done to give us a shot at winning this game. To be patient, pick our spots. I think the only thing that I feel like I can criticize is the lack of intensity during certain stretches of the game. I think we could have been more dialed in, more focused, more intense, and I think that would have probably got us through. But I think we took plays off during certain stretches, and I think that ultimately that's what hurt us.
Yeah, I agree. Edgar, looking at the stats, I know you're not our resident stats guy. It actually is Lou, but I want to throw some stuff at you. 14 shots for Cruz Azul compared to our 11, 6 on target compared to our 2. We had 63% possession compared to their 37, 85% pass accuracy, committed less fouls than them. I could go on, but do you feel like that's an accurate representation of the game? Like a lot of possession, but not leading to really anything crazy?
Yes and no. I mean, 63% seems like a lot more than we had. I think it was closer to 50-50 in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, we had a lot of opportunities and we just didn't capitalize on them. A lot of lack of effort from a handful of our players.
Okay. Any other closing thoughts about this stupid game?
I'll say this: Tom Harrison put out he has like a weekly newsletter that he sends out, and he sent out a really interesting one last week about our attack, and it was sort of like a heat map of where we attack from, and most of our attack is coming up the right side. So I think that's a concern, because if you basically stall us out on that right end, we have nothing up the left wing. And that kind of goes back to your point, Dennis, how we're not getting anything out of Linus. There's nothing there. There's no partnerships. And so I think teams obviously look at these sort of things, these sort of trends, and will hurt us in the postseason because we have these deficiencies. So there's a lot that we need to tweak. There's a lot that we need to improve on. And hopefully Carioca gets better, bro, because it's been proven that we rely on him so much.
Yep. Yeah, we've become too one-dimensional in so many ways, and the roster is not good enough to find ways to not be one-dimensional, unfortunately. So that's on Guido to try and not experiment necessarily. I guess kind of experiment, but weird to say that in the postseason. But you got to try something different, right? Like you gotta see what works.
Going back to Alfred's point on depth, man, it's definitely a concern, because we haven't found anybody to truly replace Carioca yet. Parra shows some glimpses of hope, but he's still too young, doesn't have enough minutes under his belt to be a true replacement for Carioca. If Bruneta goes down, who's going to fill his role? If Gorriarán goes down, who's going to fill that role? Even Nico, as much as you guys love to criticize him, who's gonna play the 9 with Gignac injured? So we're definitely thin. I think that our best, as far as depth is concerned, our best line is the back line, because you have Zwarg, who's sort of kind of become a stopper / sweeper. You got, well, I don't want to say this, but we got Diego Reyes back there. We've got Loroña. Uh, so there's Garza. So there's some.
The birthday boy tercero.
No, not that guy. Not that guy. Not Tabecado, but at least we have some options there. But if Brunetta goes down, I don't see a guy coming in to fill his shoes, man.
Nope. Sebastian doesn't play that way enough to like fill that role completely. Like Sebastian has to play higher up. Like you can't have Cordova play deep like Brunetta is right now. It's just not the same. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I mean we have players. It's like Antuna is a sub, right? And
right.
And Herrera's a sub, and Flores is a sub, and Fulgencio's a sub, but it's just proven this season that they're not adequate.
And since Cordova led the team to the championship, this is from Alfred, nobody else has taken the team on their shoulders to carry us in important games. And to that point, who's going to be that person in this season? Because, I mean, it's not going to be Gignac because he's not going to be around, probably. So is Sebastian going to do it again? Is Corriaran going to be that person right now? Is it going to be Brunetta? Brunetta has not had good Liguilla performances since he joined Tigres. I'm just saying the truth. He hasn't.
In theory, it should be Brunetta, though. You're absolutely correct. It hasn't been him, but in theory, it should be.
Yeah.
So these guys got to step up. My last point about this game, and this is actually be a great transition into talking about the Necaxa series. The last time that we were in the Conca semifinals, which was 2 years ago, we lost to León. What happened in the league after that? Number 8.
The cup.
So maybe the one sliver of hope that we can take from this is that maybe we could be on our way to number 9, although the circumstances are very different. And the journey to number 9 starts on Thursday, which I guess I'm not surprised because the league just sucks, but I am a little surprised that we're starting on Thursday with our matchup against Necaxa. First leg is there. Second leg is on Sunday night in Monterrey. Necaxa has been one of the surprises of the season. La Carmon coming in as coach. They score a lot. One of the higher scoring teams in the league this Clausura season. And again, we're starting this series on the road where since Pizarro's taken over, this team has not been good on the road at all. I mean, the last game that we won on the road against Necaxa when Pizarro played his last game. Was that the last time we won a road game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he was still playing. So obviously very different now. Edgar, would you remind ourselves and would you remind our viewing audience and our listeners the injury report that we have going into this game? Because it's not super long, but it is very influential.
Yes, unfortunately, we do have some critical absences. The one that is 100% confirmed is Gignac is going to be out for both games of the first round of Liguilla. Rafa Carioca is in doubt. I mean, first he had, I think he had like an oral infection or something. He got better from that, but then he had a muscular injury, so he has not been training and is expected to miss the game. And Joaquim is also in doubts to miss the game.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if the Brazilians play on Thursday. I would be stunned if they don't play on Sunday. Maybe not Carioca, but I would be stunned if Joaquim does not make it back for Sunday. But those are big losses for those two.
Let me ask you guys this: if Carioca can't go, which it's looking like he might not for this first leg, he might not even travel. Do you guys prefer Parra or Vigon in his spot?
Oh, Parra all day.
Parra.
And I'd rather, because what happened on Thursday, this is the other thing I was going to say. What happened with Vigon's inclusion is that Corriaran played a little bit deeper as a more like defensive midfielder. You can't do that, man. Like you got to have him play a little bit higher. He's a box to box. He's not a 6, right? Like he has to have some freedom to roam. And if you have him be the deepest midfielder, it's not going to work. So either you keep the back, well, the back line won't be the same because of the injury. So Romulo, we're going to assume Romulo steps in with the center backs, right? That's very obvious. And would you rather have Bigon again after clearly that didn't work on Thursday against a very good team? Or would you rather have Parra, where you have some more solidity there at the back, and a guy who young and technically inexperienced in Liguilla, but a guy who has proven to be a calming presence in the team when he's played in the league this season. I'd much rather have that, especially in a road game where I don't expect a ton of goals. That's the answer.
I think he just gives you more defensively. He's a better defender than Vigon is, and then he's a better passer than Vigon. He's better with the through balls and finding his teammates. Vigon, I mean, to his credit, he does a lot of running. You know, he covers ground, but you saw it in the Cruz Azul game. He didn't do anything in the build-up. He didn't do anything to help us keep possession. I'm not saying he had a terrible game. It's just he had a Vigon type game. You know, there wasn't anything there that merits him starting in a game like this.
There are just some players that are better as subs than starters.
Yeah.
And Juan Pablo Vigon is the prime example of that in every sense of the word, especially now since he's older. So, Edgar, I assumed your answer to Lou's question is also Parra.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. I mean, I expect Lainez to start. I know I just had my rant about him, but I totally expect him to start on Thursday because apparently Guido has a ton of trust in him. It should be Garza. It should be Garza and Aquino in the wingback spots, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. Purata, Angulo, Romulo, Gorri, Bru. I guess the other question is, does Sebastian keep his spot next to Ibanez, or does somebody else step in, like an Antuna or an Ociel?
That's a good question. I don't know. I just haven't seen anything from Pizarro to show that he favors Cordova over Antuna. So I wonder if maybe he goes back to Antuna for this one. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a coin flip between those two, but not necessarily one has the upper hand over the other.
He's gonna start Fulgencio. I'm kidding. He's
Oh,
not.
please.
I'm trying to fill in the void left by Woodsy tonight.
I was like, no.
No, I'm totally kidding. Yeah, I think it's got to be one of those two. Ociel to me has to be a sub in this scenario. If Marcelo steps on the field at all during the series, something has gone horribly wrong, and Guido might be dumb. Because I mean, you can't, after what he did, after how he came in and just effectively ruined everything as far as Conca goes last week, he can't play right now. He just can't.
No, he's in a horrible slump too. I think he's got one foot out the door already. He's like that kid in senior year in high school in his last week. You just can't trust him anymore.
Last week?
Last week of high school.
Dude, more like the last semester. I deal with kids all the time in my sub job, and the seniors have been done for months, man. They're ready to go. Let's talk about our opponent, Necaxa. Again, high scoring, new coach, a coach that has been proven in our league, who took a Leon team to the Conca Championship and to the Club World Cup a couple years ago. What are the biggest things that we need to watch for with them as far as their style of play and their players that could potentially cause us problems, specifically on Thursday, considering we're not a good road team?
They're a very dynamic team, for one. Really solid midfielders, guys like Palavecino, Paradela. They're a team that does really well in transition. So they're happy to play without the ball if needed and can strike quickly. So They're going to look to force mistakes, especially in our initial third. If they can force a mistake, they'll quickly take shots. They're one of those teams, I think, along with Toluca, that does a very good job of like forcing mistakes and then quickly turning that into a scoring opportunity. So we'll have to be very careful. They have two really good shooters, outside the box shooters, that can hurt us if we're not careful. So we're going to have to be sharp, because that's been an issue for us all season, where we're trying to play out the back and then we make mistakes either by making the wrong pass or forcing a pass or trying to dribble out of a press, and then that leads into an opportunity for the opponent. I think they're going to look to force that kind of thing, especially with if Joaquin can't go. I think they'll notice that there might be some possibilities there, and I think they'll look to strike quickly. So we'll have to be sharp. They're that's a team that can score a lot. So we don't. It's not necessarily the type of series where we want to go toe to toe with them, because if this ends up being a high scoring series, it's probably not going to favor us. We're going to have to be very sharp, keep it low scoring, and then try to squeak out a win over there, or at least a 0-0 tie or a 1-1 tie. That way we come back home with an advantage.
Dude, this series reminds me so much of San Luis last season. The it's just so. I know it's kind of a cop out answer, but like genuinely, like a lot of similarities there, in the ways that they can hurt us. Alfred's saying, got to keep the ball away from Palavecino.
Yeah, that dude can shoot, man. That guy's got a great foot. Good passer too. He's one of those guys that if we lose the ball and he's in a position to shoot, he's going to strike, and we're going to have to be very careful. You mentioned San Luis, Dennis, and what killed us in that first leg was mistakes. We had an own goal, and there was a lot of bad juju in the back line with the back line that night, and I think that's what ended up just killing us. So let's not repeat that. I think we need to be sharp, and if we can keep it 0-0 for most of the night, that favors us, because then we can go home and finish the series.
Right. Edgar, I'll throw this next question to you, and also all you people that are watching right now. We want your answers to this question in the chat. The most important player in this, specifically in this first leg, needs to be who from our team?
Needs to be, for me, Brunetta. I think he's just the next in line for that like leadership role on the pitch. I think in our starting 11, because without question, he's going to be included, is the most talented player on the roster. More accountability needs to be placed onto him.
Okay. My answer to that is like a split between him and Goriaran. Goriaran not necessarily from like a playing and tactical perspective, from like a leadership. Like, I know we mentioned this. Who mentioned? Was it one of y'all that mentioned this earlier, or was it Peter in the big group thread about like Guignac being the type of guy to like yell at the players and like rile them up like on the field?
Yeah, I think that was Peter.
Yeah, which shout out Peter, if you're watching, shout out to you. That is a great point, because we don't have anybody like that right now. And even Guido was that while he was still playing. Like, yeah, Guido's doing that from the sideline, but like there's not anybody being that super commanding, like accountable presence on the field right now. And we need that from somebody. And if anybody's going to be that, it is going to be Goriaran. Just because he is the main captain right now, and that's a guy who plays with passion, who plays with a lot of intensity. Like, get on to the guys and like be like the guy who sets the tone as far as like having a little bit of a sense of urgency, even from the beginning, right? Like, you can't be complacent. You can't play the first leg this week the way that you played the first leg against Cruz Azul. Like, that just cannot happen again, right? Like that's a bad look for everybody, and the players have to step up and make sure that doesn't happen again. And to me, that starts with Goriaran. Alfred saying Brunetta definitely, but we got to ask more of Ibanez too. Our goals can't depend just on our midfielders. I mean, that's a fair point. I don't think to that end, and I know Lou, you're going to agree with me on this. To that end, I don't think he's gotten great service the last couple of games. I really don't, because again, our build-up play has not been very good. But on the chances that he does have, yes, he does need to, take them on well, because we're not going to have a ton, especially on the road.
The Just to add to your point, Dennis, it doesn't need to be just Brunetta and Gorriarán. We need a third person, a third midfielder to step up, because it's such a huge load. And so if we're gonna be successful this liguilla, we need that third one. Be it Cordova or, I mean, I don't have any high hopes in Antuna, but there needs to be a third midfielder, or Carioca if he's healthy, to be able to carry that load, because we can't depend on Brunetta and Gorriarán alone. If one stands out, fine, but we need at least three midfielders playing really well in order to advance and continue. Um, and and yeah, I agree with you. In the Cruz Azul match, there wasn't any crosses for Ibanez, and I think that's what a lot of fans don't get, is that forwards depend on the work of the midfield. It is what it is. It's what a team needs. The midfield is what really gets everything going. And the stats don't lie. You got nothing out of Lainez from as far as crosses. I think he was at 0%, and I think you had one completed cross from Aquino, and maybe one from Cordova. I think there was two or three successful crosses in that second leg, and if that's just, you're not feeding your forward. And I mean, you could have plugged Gignac in there, and with that kind of production, you're not going to get anything. Everything just depends on the midfield, and that's why moving forward, our midfield needs to be really solid, and that's why a guy like Carioca being out is such a huge blow to us, because that is your third guy that's going to help with the build-up, that's going to help with the distribution of the ball.
Right.
Everything is going to improve. But if you don't have that third guy, you're just a sitting duck, right? You don't have enough of a push forward in order to threaten that back line of the
Right.
opponent. And when you don't threaten, then what happens is you're going to get attacked on. So I think that's our biggest problem right now, is not having another creative midfielder, or another midfielder that can distribute and help us get to the final third with some intent.
Right. Frank saying Cordova needs to step up and be the version that he was when we won the Octava. Yes, I mean anybody.
If Cordova gets there, dude, I have full trust in Brunetta. I have full trust in Gorriarán that we can put it together. Imagine having a healthy Carioca, Cordova completely dialed in, and then Brunetta and Gorriarán doing what they got us accustomed to. Then I think we can beat any team.
Here's Alfred again with this point that I'm sure we've all heard many a time now. Him disagreeing with you, Lou, saying Gignac plugged in makes a difference, which I do agree with. However, he is saying when the midfield isn't creating, you need that striker who chases opportunities and creates opportunities himself. I would agree with that if this was Gignac last year, because he was still doing that. Honestly, over the last year, he hasn't been doing that because of injuries and just like he just doesn't have the pace that he once had, and unfortunately, he's not a 90-minute player anymore. Yes, he does make a difference because of the respect that he has and just his pedigree, and he is more skilled. But I mean, I think there's still a lot of good merit in your argument, Lou, of like the service is just bad right now. And you're also proving my point that Garza needs to play more because he provides at least something, right? Like much more than these other guys right now, especially if the midfield's struggling to create stuff, then you need another source. And again, Lainez has not been that. So plug somebody else into that spot, aka Jesus Garza, and maybe you have something different. But who knows, man? Who knows? I guess we should do predictions, huh? Our favorite part of the show. Edgar, I'll start with you. Give us your predictions for on aggregate for first and second leg, however you want to go about it.
So I think the aggregate's going to be 3-1, but the first game's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Lou?
I'm going to go 1-1 in that first leg on the road, and then I'm going to go 2-1 win at home, and we advance.
Cutting it close.
I'm going to say we honestly, I honestly think we lose on Thursday 2-1. But then we we win 2-0 at home on Sunday.
Stressing me out already, Dennis.
Bro, what do we always say? Si no sufrir no es de tigres, right?
Oh, man.
Which is true, but last time we lost in the first leg, we were eliminated. We couldn't bounce back. That's my fear. Even if it was a 1-0, Necaxa beats us 1-0 in the first leg. That is terrifying to me.
Alfred saying 0-0 away, 2-0 at home. I don't see how Necaxa doesn't score on Thursday. I'm sorry. I think they're going to score at least one there. They're at home. And we're not scoring more than one on Thursday either. Sorry, Edgar, what were you saying?
I was going to say, not to mention they've got an extra boost of momentum. I think they're actually recording a documentary right now of this Liguilla run, so they've got a little bit of an extra push.
Well, from a morale... Sorry, go ahead.
If we get eliminated, how mad would you guys be? Like, how disappointed would you guys be?
Not that disappointed.
Depends how we go out. If we play like crap, I'll be very upset.
That's true. Yeah,
if close game.
Yeah, I mean, if there's still no like urgency and passion and, you know, to put it bluntly, huevos from the team, then like, yeah, I'm gonna be upset because again, that's been the last two liguillas. So I don't know. We'll see. Alfred saying Nahuel will carry us this liguilla. I mean, do we want it? But here's my point to that. Like, do we really need another rerun of 2019? Like,
I'll take it.
I mean, I'll take it, but man, like that is stressful, man. To just have
honestly, I think that's gonna be the formula. That's gonna be the formula to.
Okay.
No, we need to keep all these games coming up. They all need to be low scoring. That's how we do it. We let our defense and Nahuel win the championship because offensively at home I trust our squad because we get that push from the squad from the fans and the stands. But on the road we've been so flat and I just don't see how we turn it around. I'm not sure what's going on the road, to be honest. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's coming from the coach, but if we're gonna get it done, and we're gonna continue, I'm assuming we're gonna continue to be a bad road team, then we're gonna have to play great at home, the best that we can play in low-scoring situations, and then clamp down defense on the road, just like we did in 2019 against Leon when we had a really decent first leg at home, right? And then we were amazing defensively, and Nahuel was a hero, and we got it done. I think that's the ticket. That's the formula right there.
I already have like heart palpitations just listening to that. Like, good
blood pressure skyrocketing.
Golly. I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, that is gonna have to be the way, I guess. But man, the potential road to get to a final, you have to go through this Necaxa team. I believe I would have to imagine we're gonna play Cruz Azul next round if we get there. That's like the most likeliest like option.
Wouldn't we play Toluca if all the top seeds advance?
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you're right.
And
Now,
honestly, to me, that's the scariest of matchups.
Toluca is
Yeah,
okay.
just because offensively, I think we don't match up well against them. We already proven that we can play with Cruz Azul. We had 3 games and we were very competitive in all
That is
3 of them.
true. And
We got the best from Cruz Azul that we could get, and honestly, it just doesn't scare me. Like if you were to tell me Cruz Azul Tigres final, I would sign up right now, and I would really like our chances of winning it. But Toluca in that semis game, that is going to be a tough one. And no disrespect to Rayados, I think Rayados might give Toluca fits. There's certain situations there where Rayados could give them fits and could put a scare to them. But assuming all the top seeds advance, I think that Toluca matchup is going to be really tough.
yeah,
Playing in at Toluca on the road, that's a tough place. That's a place where we haven't done too great. So to me, that's going to be the biggest hurdle to me. Is if you can get past Toluca in semis, I like our chances in the final.
and we haven't played them since they went on their crazy run this year. I think we played them early in the season, if I remember correctly. And
We lost 1-0, right? I believe, but they dominated us. I think pretty much the entire match.
yeah. Man, Pachuca, help us out. Help us out and cause an upset against America, please.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the other thing too, like the importance of doing well in this Liguilla, I mean, it's obvious, right? But we're running out of chances to qualify for next season's Champions Cup. I was reading earlier today, and if I remember correctly, if we don't make the final, we need Toluca or Cruz Azul to make the final. So that's one way we get there. The other way is obviously we make the final ourselves. And if we don't make it in either of those ways, then I think the only other way is to finish top 3 in Leagues Cup, a tournament that we've not had great endings the last couple of years. So gotta make the most of this moment and gotta go on a run, right? Like I know I'm stating the obvious, but let's go on a run. Let's go.
It's very doable, man. I know a lot of people are down on Pizarro and down on the squad, but we haven't been terrible.
It could be way worse.
I mean, take away the lack of intensity, which is fixable, and then now you've got just minor mistakes, right? Playing out the back, just a few mistakes that you can fix. And if the team's dialed in and you can maybe get a couple players hot at their best moment for Liguilla, I think it's not out of the question to make a deep run.
Yeah. Mohamed will hand Rayados to win, says Alfred. That would be very fitting. That's assuming Sergio Ramos is still in the country, because maybe.
Let's play with that scenario for a little bit, Dennis. If Rayados win, then what is and the rest advance? That puts America as the number 1 seed, then, right? So that would put America Rayados,
and we
Cruz Azul, Tigres. That'd be interesting.
And then, to Alfred's point, we could be looking at a Clásico Regio final.
Wow. Dude, that would be very interesting turn of events, bro.
Golly.
Really, that would be... Dude, imagine if that happened. I mean, that would be an amazing final. Just,
Maybe Gignac comes back for that. Maybe he makes a miracle recovery. I mean, they have Canales back too, so jeez. I doubt it. I mean, they stink, but I doubt it. Threaker! About time he showed up. We have gone far with a lot worse. Yes.
This is true.
That is true. I don't know. This roster is worse than 2023. For sure.
Depth-wise, for sure.
Yeah.
We just don't have the depth anymore.
And we don't have Orey.
Dude, I was thinking about Luis Quiñones earlier today, bro.
Just
And
casually.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Dennis, because I need to go on record and say, Luis Quiñones, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was wrong about you. You know, when Antuna came in, I said, you know what? If we can just get Luis Quiñones, like basically Luis Quiñones level, I'll be happy, right? This is like a younger version of Luis Q. Bro, was I wrong, bro?
Bro.
It turns out that there
Uh,
was some big shoes to fill, apparently. As
yeah.
much as we criticize Luis Quiñones, apparently he set the bar too high because Antuna, I wouldn't even let him lace up Luis Quiñones' shoes, bro. I mean, Antuna's been that bad where I wouldn't even let him, move his clothes around in the locker room. It,
Jeez.
he hasn't even come close to giving us any type of Luis Q moment.
No.
No.
Not at all. Edgar, do you need to apologize to Quinones as well?
I'll apologize to a different Quiñones.
Oh, well,
Julian,
hold
Julian,
on,
bro.
you and Alfred both saying the same thing. Alfred saying, I also want to apologize to Quinones. Julian, that is, if he was in our starting lineup instead of Ibanez, we'd be talking different things.
How quickly you guys forget that he was Raquetas Quiñones before he left.
Bro, he was awful.
He was awful, and he needed a different place that was not Guignac's shadow to grow and develop into his own player. And he's gotten there now, so I think he should come back.
Yeah,
bring him back, huh?
Bro.
You would bring him back right now, Edgar?
Today, yes, I would pick up the phone and I would call him and I would say, "We're sorry. Please come back."
Dog, he's not leaving Saudi Arabia. Like,
of course he's not.
The buku amounts of money he's making there, man. Like,
And he's playing well out there, dude.
He's
actually
yeah,
like at the top of in stats wise.
He was like,
What's sad, bro, is that he'd come back to Tigres and just become the guy we knew. He'd be like old times again, bro. Ball bouncing off of him, and there's just players that don't cut it, like at Tigres. I'm not sure why, but I mean, look at Urbano. There's been so many of them. They go and play well at other places, but yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you, dude. If it was on the squad right now, at least we'd have some depth, right? He'd be starting, and maybe Nico would be his sub, or vice versa. But we'd have depth, because right now Nico goes down, we have nobody.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. Edgar, am I missing anything from our very well-made outline, aka a couple of texts between you and me in our group thread earlier? Besides Tercero's birthday?
Yeah, happy birthday, Tercero, the man who I aspire to be when I grow up.
So you get paid to do nothing, Edgar? Is that what you want?
Nothing.
I would love that so much. I would love that.
7 years. What was the stat? Who put that out? 7 years, 4 completed games.
I think
4 complete
game.
Or one complete.
One complete game. 1 game of 90 minutes.
31 appearances.
31 appearances in 7 years. He's averaging 4 games a year. Jesus Christ.
So my man is basically working less than part-time, making full salary wages there.
Dude.
Yeah, full benefits.
He's got the entire package for less than part-time. That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
I don't know if you guys remember this, though. You know who was in the starting lineup this time a year ago when we were playing Liguilla against Rayados? Tercero. He was playing in those games. Yeah, dude, because we had injuries. I think he played. I don't know if he played both legs, but I'm pretty sure he played the second leg.
Wow, so, I don't remember that, but I trust your memory, Dennis.
I was looking through. I was trying to find something on the Tigres English account, which, by the way, why is it still dead? I don't understand.
Edgar, we've been promoting
Somebody
you.
hire Edgar to do that job.
Yeah, dude. We need
Even though
we
he
need you
just
to
started a new job.
We need you to go and do it right.
Yeah, I will
Seriously.
gladly take over the English socials.
We'll put Double L Nation on pause momentarily,
Hiatus.
or have Edgar, the other Edgar, do the alter Edgar.
Yeah, we'll just shuffle Edgar's around.
Threeger saying, "Bring back mi diente de oro." What is he? How's he been in South America? I haven't seen him do a ton from what I've seen.
Nah,
I think
no,
he
I
had a
haven't.
season when he left and then kind of just phased out.
Sure.
Ya está viejito.
Okay. Yep. May 10th of last year, first leg. He played 78 minutes in that 2-1 loss at home.
Probably why we got bounced.
Well, yeah. There was. Do you guys want to hear the lineup for this game?
Sure.
From the vault moment right here.
Yeah, the goalkeeper was Felipao because Nahuel was serving a suspension. Uh, Aquino, Tercero, Samir,
Oh boy.
Angulo. Midfield was Carioca and Gorri. The three under Guignac was Lanes, Bruneta, and Flores. And the only subs used that day were Vigon, Ibanez, and Ociel. Actually, I think Pizarro also played too. I don't think Quiñones played that game, and neither did Fierro, who were still on the roster at the time. Yeah, I mean, that backline. Tercero and Samir backline at a Clásico Regio Liguilla game. I know we had it in Greece, but that is diabolical.
I'm surprised we didn't allow more goals.
We only allowed 2.
I know, that's a miracle.
Sounds like we should have allowed 5.
Well, we gave up, I think, more the next game, if I remember correctly. I think we gave up 3. Yeah, we only gave up 1. I'm sorry. No, that wasn't the goleada game. All those things are a blur. Also, Alfred, with another comment here. We currently have a player that was a killer at Pachuca and is only starting at Tigres because Guignac is injured, referring to Ivan. He's just, again.
He's such a hater. What a hater.
Oh,
It's all right. It's all right. He'll score. He'll come around. He'll score. Silence the haters again.
We need it. We need it big time. What else am I missing, if anything?
I think that's it.
Okay. My last thing for tonight, Alfred saying, I hope he does silence me. My last thing for tonight is not even Tigres related, but it is footy related. That Barcelona Inter game today
Yes.
is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. Both games. Unbelievable. But today, holy cow. I mean, the goals, the back and forth nature of the saves, specifically by Sommer from
The passing, Dennis. The passing, man.
Lamine is unbefreaking-leavable. I know that you are a supporter of Inter's rival, Edgar. So I know you probably got some conflicting feelings. Threeger saying that game deserved PKs. I don't know about that, man. I think it deserved to end.
I think for the sake of the fans, bro, I'm glad just it ended like that because imagine. I don't support any of those teams, and obviously being a Real Madrid supporter, I'm automatically leaning towards Inter. But because
you support the Premier League champions, come on now.
That's right, Liverpool. But them being at home, and I felt like, oh man, I hope they get it right because I wanted that crowd to enjoy that moment. And once it goes into PKs, then it's a coin flip. So
yeah, that game deserved the ending that it did for sure. I mean,
no.
I know that you would disagree.
I was amazed at how much in shape these guys are, dude. They ran the entire game, bro. I was like, unbelievable.
Yeah. And the fact that they still had a fair amount of juice, even in extra time. I mean, well, Inter, not so much. Because, I mean, they were dead, especially after Fratesi scored. But Barcelona, man, like, Lamine probably could have played another 120 minutes on top of that, it felt like. And Rafinha, too. I mean, just the way that he was trying to make stuff happen. I mean, oh my gosh. Like, the group chat
Phenomenal
was
game.
the group chat was great. Um, absolutely great stuff during that game as well. I'm glad that we were like all watching that like at the same time. Just super crazy. I was like kind of distracted. This is my weird bit for today. I bought a base today, and I was in the middle of buying that from the guy who sold it to me while the game was happening. So I was like late to like reacting in the group chat. But just know that as I'm like, dropping 600 or whatever dollars on this bass guitar today, that I was watching just the most beautiful game of football I've ever seen in my life, besides the World Cup final in 2022. Just unbelievable, man. Like, we're not going to get that tomorrow, unfortunately, with PSG. I do not expect that to happen at all. But yeah, what a
So
game.
who takes it, Dennis? Who takes the whole thing? Call it now.
Yeah, I think PSG wins tomorrow, and I think if we get a PSG Inter final, I'm leaning Inter. I think they get redemption from 2023. I trust their coaching more than PSG's, but I think PSG has a great chance in that scenario, to win that game with their midfield, with their attacking presence. Luis Enrique is a crazy good coach. So I mean, I think it's like 51-49 Inter if that's the matchup. If it's Inter versus Arsenal, I'm taking Inter, and it's more like 60-40, 65-35 because Arsenal's attack is just not good. It hasn't been good all season. So, and it'll be really tight if we end up getting Inter PSG. Really tight.
I think PSG takes it finally.
I don't disagree, man. Like, if there's ever going to be a year, it's going to be right now with this team, with their young nucleus, and of course, it's going to happen the year after Mbappe leaves.
Yeah,
It makes total sense.
Which would be hilarious. And I mean, like, I'll be honest, I hate all of these teams. I hate Arsenal. I hate Inter, obviously, and like I feel horrible that I have to root for Arsenal or PSG, but I can't stand their fan bases either.
Yeah, same. I'm with you. Should be fascinating either way. I'm sure we'll talk more about those games as it gets a little bit closer. Alfred bringing up a good point. We always like to talk about merch here on the show. And the new prices for the new jerseys that will come out this season have been leaked, according to our friend at Tigres Jersey. Everything's a little bit more expensive. Of course, if y'all remember, we are getting long sleeve jerseys next season for both home and away. I'm not sure about the third kit yet. Maybe? Who knows? And also, a new jacket released yesterday. I don't know if it got taken down yet from the Adidas site, but a new 65th anniversary jacket that is eerily similar to the Adidas Originals first version jacket came out. And it's literally the exact same thing. Like, Edgar, you did such a good job of describing it on your account. Like, we could have done so much better because it's literally just that jacket, same colorway, same design, but smaller logos. Like, literally almost a carbon copy. Is like, okay, that's kind of lame. So yeah, that also happened. They're overpriced, but as Tariq, you're saying, I'm glad you brought this up. We know they're still being bought, and they're going to be bought by us, and it's just going to add to our cuentas for the year that we've been talking about. So I don't know if y'all have any other thoughts on that, but yeah.
There's an audio circulating on Twitter of Miguel Herrera, and all the times he's saying, "Hay que trabajar." So it's just like, "Hay que trabajar, hay que trabajar." So hay que trabajar. So that's me. I que trabajar so I can make some money to buy these jerseys.
Hay Yeah.
I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but I noticed the third kit they're calling it the 2025-2026 kit. So does that come out in June?
That's interesting.
Because
Because
normally they'll release it like in January, and it's like the
the
January
calendar year.
December. Yeah, the calendar year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because then what happens to the white jersey? Does it become a fourth jersey? Or does the black one become a fourth jersey? Like, that's really weird. Speaking of jerseys, I don't know if y'all saw the leak of the World Cup kits for next year, but
No go.
the green one especially is bad. It's just, I mean, whatever they're doing on the medals was awful. The white one's okay, and the black one's okay too, but the green one's bad.
That black one with the gold tones is pretty nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And now that we're on the subject, let's not wear the third kit this entire postseason, please.
Thank you.
Who? See, that's one thing I got to give Tuca credit for. Tuca never ever wore the third kit, and now I know why.
Bad luck. We're not wearing them this week. We're wearing the league website said Thursday we're wearing yellow jersey, blue shorts. And then on Sunday we're wearing yellow jersey, yellow shorts.
Right.
So in theory, that should help. Although
Yes.
I do wish we were wearing the blue kits on Thursday, personally. Just because it looks good. And we haven't played bad in the blue kit this season. So, see, even Edgar's a dog agrees with me.
Yes, made an appearance to agree.
I've been waiting for your pets to make an appearance over the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's usually a dog or a cat. Today it's the small dog.
I love it. Anything else? No from the vault moments that we have? I couldn't really think of any besides that lineup from the first leg against Rayados this time last year, which was just awful.
Nah, I don't have anything.
Lou?
Nothing. Tigres jersey did do like a little throwback to the 2011, 2012
Yeah.
away jersey that had the all blue with the yellow franja on it, and saying that was the last time that we had that kind of jersey up until now. So that's a special one. They had the UANL down the center, which I think we should bring back at some point. That's
good. So
stinking
good.
nice.
One of my favorite kits ever. That's just like not even Tigres, just like football kits ever. Alfred saying from the vault, Tercero 7 years.
7 wonderful years.
Wonderful may be a stretch, but anyway.
Bro's gonna get a pension when he retires.
For real.
I feel like we're gonna have a retirement party for him,
bro. I
and then we'll get an announcement that he's getting some kind of easy job in the front office. Watch,
bro.
Be a photo of him with like signing with his right hand and then a slice of pizza on his left as he's taking a bite and signing.
Dude, I don't even have retirement like set up anywhere. Like I haven't, the way that my jobs have worked out, I've never had any sort of retirement, and this dude's gonna get a pension for doing part-time work.
Don't hate the player, bro. Hate the game.
Hate the game is right. Okay, sorry, my last bit. I got another rant. I don't know if I talked about it a few weeks ago or not on the show, but I've been talking about it on Twitter. I've come to the conclusion that the FIFA Club World Cup this year is stupid. Everything about it is stupid. The way it's set up is stupid. The ticket prices are stupid. And the fact that we're about to have a one-game playoff between LAFC and Globo America when America has no sporting merit whatsoever to be in a position to qualify for that tournament is absolutely stupid. It is absolutely stupid that Leon is the one that's kicked out instead of Pachuca when Leon qualified first. It's stupid that LAFC is just not getting that berth automatically for being the runner-up of that tournament, or that Cruz Azul of Vancouver are just not getting getting that berth because they're playing in the Conca final in a few weeks. everything about it is stupid. I'm so upset with how it's turned out. And if this is a precursor to the World Cup, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, even the marketing for this tournament's been awful.
Awful.
Like,
Just awful. I mean, and they don't even have a real TV provider. It's on freaking DAZN, whatever the heck that is.
Lord.
Well, and it's on TNT here, I guess, in the US. But I mean, what are we doing, man? Like, what a dumpster fire, honestly. So, as much as I wish our team was in it, Alfred also saying the trophy's stupid. Yes, agreed. It is a stupid trophy. It's all stupid. It's all stupid, and I don't think it's gonna go very well.
Nah.
But that's just me. All right, we good?
I think we're good.
We are good.
Cool. Listeners, viewers, watchers, followers, thanks for tuning in. Chat, thanks for chatting with us. Really appreciate it. If you're listening on podcasts, thank you for listening. Don't forget to share and subscribe on Spotify or Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're a Spotify person, you can comment directly on the episodes, much like how Edgar comments on my Dennis and Friends show episodes pretty consistently. So you should do that and let us know your thoughts on this episode if you haven't already. Follow all of us on social media. You can follow this account, lautimes, on Twitter, the little ticker below, or you can look at the show notes. Lou is at Tigres_English. Edgar is at Double L Nation. You can follow me at just my name. Because again, I don't have a Tigres account, even though I don't know. Though last week was talking about maybe I need to jump on the bandwagon, but I don't know about all that.
Let's do it, Dennis.
We'll see.
We'll call
We'll
you
see.
bless the producer.
I can't stand you. Anyways, we will be back. We'll be back next week for sure. Depending, I mean, we'll see what happens with this matchup. We'll either be in a good mood talking about a semifinal matchup, or we'll be depressed talking about the end of the season. So we'll be back with an episode next week. I'm not going to make any guarantees, but we may or may not do a post game. Probably not after Thursday, because it doesn't make sense to do a post game after Thursday, but probably after Sunday, depending on what happens. Or it could all just be terrible, and I may text these two guys like I did last week on Thursday and be like, I'm hot. I'm not in the mood to do a post game. So there may be a post game this week. There may not be. Tune into that. We'll try to communicate that on Twitter, especially as best we can, if we do. But at the very least, we'll be back at some point early next week, probably on Tuesday again, and we'll talk about what happened this week and hopefully talk about a semifinal matchup. So until next time, we will see you guys then. Arriba la U. Edgar, Lou, thanks for joining me. And
Peace.
buenas noches.
Good night.